Alright everyone, it's time for a little bit of a tech news thing here. Microsoft has decided to make its word processor woke, thus making it useless, in a step that literally nobody asked for. And it was actually last year that they first brought up that they were going to work on this. There are so many people that are surprised by this. Oh, when they update my Windows, all of a sudden it puts a red line through, bad words and stuff like that. Now, it's draconian. And it also, by the way, I predicted several years ago things like this would happen. The next step, at some indefinite point in the future, is that Microsoft and Apple especially, and other companies as well, are going to build into the TOS, the EULA of their software, that they're going to remotely monitor, using algorithms, using AI, it won't be largely human, all of the files on your system, and they will have full access and control over them. They will begin deleting your backed up data if it is not remotely stored. My suggestion is that you have an older computer for storage purposes that doesn't even necessarily have to connect to the internet, and you store things there and in removable storage devices, USB, DVDs, whatever the fuck you're using, an external hard drive. I strongly recommend that. When I make predictions like this, and I'm reluctant to say things that sound dire, because oftentimes things don't pan out. It's like when people say, oh my god, COVID's going to kill everyone. It's going to upend society. We're in the next dark ages. No. My prediction had been, though, it would become a major pandemic. It would be misused for tyrannical purposes. It would cause shortages. These were all, to me, obvious. I guess it's, just the way that my brain processes some shit. I saw what was going to happen. The OSHA mandate, etc. With this, in a natural future, because of investment by other companies, by woke companies, if they're willing to do this, to fiddle with their word processor, making a change nobody asked for, screwing users in the process, they will at some point bow to pressure to monitor people's files. They'll have the technology to do this. They'll probably lease it from Google. And they will go through and it will scan your pictures. And if it finds anything that it thinks is racist or sexist or something, if it finds literature that is verboten, it'll destroy it. It'll scrub it off of your system. Maybe it'll stop you from using the system. Hey, you've got 3 strikes on your Microsoft account because now, for a lot of purposes, you want to play Minecraft, you need a Microsoft account now. Didn't used to be that way. You know why they're doing that? They want to establish a cyber identity so that you can be rewarded or punished according to your activities. It's not going to end at the activities that you're performing on the internet pertinent to someone else's server, someone else's computing, someone else's software that you're remotely connected to. It will come home to roost. It will be used to punish you. It will filter into a social credit score style system. And because you have an effective duopoly over computing, it is Apple and it is Microsoft for OS purposes, for anyone basically at all. Google forms the trifecta when you figure in app usage and phones, which are already remotely monitored, already far less private. So you have a triopoly, you could say, and all the companies agree on one thing. We need more censorship, we need more control over user data, more control over the flow of data, and communication. Of course they're going to go after your files. Now, there's an easy solution to this, and that's to use Openoffice. There's a link in the description to Openoffice's page. I've been using Openoffice Writer now for the better part of a decade. It's honestly better and more functional anyway, and the reason I made the switch had nothing to do with this. This was many years ago. This was before the concept that Microsoft was interested in telemetry and all this shit to remotely monitor everything you do, because of course Bill Gates wants more of them Chinese bucks, so he's probably fiddling around with things to make them more CCP friendly. They're great friends of his, so is Epstein, by the way. This was because when they made Vista, and I got, my first laptop that I bought myself ran Vista. The word processor sucked dick. It just looked terrible. It was nothing like the old XP word processor that was extremely streamlined, extremely familiar. Call me a boomer if you want, but that's the feel that I want on my computer. I'm using it predominantly as a workspace. I don't need everything in the background to change color and float around with rounded corners and bright colors. That's just frills. That's fringe bullshit. I don't need it. I don't need Microsoft to repeatedly revise where things are in a program. If I'm using the program and it already works for everything that I need it to do, there's no reason to change it. It's just not necessary. There's also, I think it's called LibreOffice, and it's an offshoot of Openoffice. I use Openoffice. Apparently some people have a problem with it. I don't know why. I don't care if development stops because it already does what I need it to do. Every book that I've edited or written has been through Openoffice. Thank you very much to the people at Apache. It's better in every way than Microsoft Word. Microsoft's own Office suite at this point has become bloatware. Who uses the goddamn Excel system anyway? Who uses most of that material? It's basically the word processor is the main one, that and slideshows for people. I hate to tell you this, but it's primitive. It's overly confusing. The layout makes less sense than it did in the XP era. Look at the Movie Maker system, for example. Windows XP Movie Maker, you could not figure out how to use it. It was the easiest thing in the world. They could have essentially taken the same premise, the same basic design, put more effects in, put more options into a new menu. It would have been very straightforward, very easy to use, and then they could have rounded the corners and added color and a new splash screen or something, and it would have impressed people and it would have worked very well. Now, most people don't use Microsoft's Movie Maker anymore, which I don't even think comes preloaded onto the system in some cases, if I remember correctly, because it's bloated. It doesn't look good. It doesn't function well. It's not good in the user interface sense. They took a product that was already... Microsoft peaks with XP effectively, and technically with Windows 7. Okay, Windows 7 was nice, other than the Movie Maker and the word processor, of course. It peaks there and it's gone downhill. Remember Windows 8? Nobody runs that. Nobody wants to restore that anymore. Nobody worries about the security lapse when they stop updating Windows 8. Nobody cares. Nobody wanted to use it in the first place because it turned your computer into a tablet. Come on. Use Openoffice or some other alternative. I love it when people don't appear to understand there are alternatives. It's like there's our plugins for YouTube. You know, you can't see the dislikes anymore. Yes, you can. I see them all the time. It's very, very fun, by the way, because the ratioing is still going on despite the fact that most people don't see them. It's called Restore YouTube Downvote, or Unlike Button, rather. It's available online for Opera, for Chrome, for all of these others. I think it's on every platform at this point. De-mainstream YouTube can fix their algorithm and get rid of the legacy media bullshit in your related videos. You can fix virtually every draconian censorious aspect of the internet can be circumvented. You can use comment freely, which is via Gab, if you don't like the fact that most of the legacy media news sites no longer have comment sections because they kept getting their shit shoved in and called out for their propaganda. You can fix all these things yourself. All you have to do is download an extension or an app or a program. Openoffice isn't even a large thing. It's very straightforward. If you ever used Windows XP word processor, which most of you did, you will know exactly how to use this. You can't fuck it up. And it's free. You know, they solicit donations. That's all they do. I'm considering giving them a fairly large donation considering how much money I've used actually using their program. I think it's a great thing. So fuck Microsoft. At this point, I'm not going to the next Windows variant. I've already made that clear. If they're going to have automatic updates you can't stop, telemetry you can't stop, wokeness in their systems and stuff, I'm going to stop using Microsoft and get a Linux. I'm gonna have to figure out how to use that. That'll be quite something, by the way, considering that I barely know how to use a smartphone for any intelligent purpose. But I'll figure it out, because I'll have to. I'm not going to give my money to a company that's engaged in this kind of behavior, because I'm not completely stupid. If I'm just an average work-a-day Joe, I don't have anything weird on my computer anyway. Like there's no crazy memes, there's no Andy 6 log posting. It's just I use it to update my Twitter page or something. I don't really care. I'm a lazy asshole. I don't care about the fact that Microsoft is going to fuck with its programs and be woke. But I write and I edit, and some of these works that I edit, of course, they're outdated. They have outdated views on ethnicity or something like that, or on gender rights. I make videos. They're edgy. At what point is Microsoft going to perpetually have the microphone on, and if it catches you saying something that it doesn't like, it's going to brick your programs? It probably will. Well, we've detected wrong speak from you, and you know what will happen? The liberals, the intellectuals out there, the people with a piece of paper they paid $50,000 for, they'll support it. Well, it's a private company. They can do what they want. Yeah, you paid a bunch of money for this computer, but it's okay. You violated the EULA. You said something in the privacy of your own home, and the microphone picked it up, and it didn't like what you said. Guaranteed that they would support it by and large. A majority, a supermajority of liberals would support that. That's about all. Peace out.